for this wonderful, to be included in this wonderful anthology. And thank you guys for being here tonight for poetry and social justice and stories and very important poetry in my opinion. So I'm going to start out with this poem called The Word of the Day. I have to change glasses. Okay. The word of the day. Every day is Earth Day, different from every day is Christmas. The word of the day could be dreadful or atrocious or lost, for the roses root deeper for water to survive this August. Their petals peeling to blossom, our eyes open, so we may protect the wild green dawn, so we may stop to watch the unexpected tributaries off 14th Street in Madras, where the mallard and her drake are paddling with their 7 ducklings through the narrow brook of the first people's mourning for the Mother Earth. And the word of the day tomorrow, let it not be brutality or money or rifle or my religion or yours. Let it be leopard or rhinoceros or red abalone or blue whale or the Yangtze River dolphin, or let the word of the day be African talking drum, or Fijian canoe drum, or Filipino kulintang, or Appalachian dulcimer, or ukulele, or slacky guitar, or let it be saxophone, carried on the shoulders of a 10-year-old girl. Yes, let us ask where and how and why we pick up and play and write and sing and dance, so the Honduran emerald hummingbird, the leatherback sea turtle, the mountain gorilla, the tiger salamander, the fender blue butterfly, the honeybees, the living coral reefs, the breathing rainforest in Brazil, in Guinea, in Hawaii, and there in the Sacramento Delta, where river otters fish and breed. Let our word be bigger, as in humility, as in mountain, water, tree, food, sun, moon, stars, but for them, for them, for them. And I'm going to read a poem. I'm dedicating this poem to all those who are in ICE custody, who have died in the ICE detention prisons. And those are the private prisons we pay for with our American tax dollars. And for mothers and fathers who are trying to save their families' lives and fleeing from oppression and violence. Also, I want to dedicate it to my students at Claggett Creek, who come to me sometimes, like last year, when being afraid that their parents are going to be deported. So, and this is called One Blood. There's a few Samoan words in here that I want to share with you before I read it. So Umu is earth oven, Vasa is sea or ocean, Maunga is mountain, Masina is moon, and Fetu is star. That's my heritage, part of my heritage. Okay, so I have a big voice too. I hope I don't blow up this microphone. Okay.
Go, Penina.
Yeah, I got to get into it. Okay. And this starts with an epigraph from James Baldwin. It is not a romantic matter. It is the unutterable truth. All men are brothers, and all women are sisters. Is it the fluidity of light interlacing all to that gallant vibration? Will the earth's magnetic field shield her treasured blue jewel, the earth? If we are one blood, why all the bloodshed? If we forsake a child screaming in the dust, families blockaded under bombed-out cities, banished from all livelihood, won't the children's nightmares boomerang into our blood, stain our sheets? How do we sleep? In America, the short answer might be Lanesta. Take your sleeping pills like good little soldiers until the drug smothers what is humanely possible. It seems like the simplest concepts have become extraordinary. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Yet the golden rule was a way of life long before the Bible seized our island. preparing bread, fruit, taro, and fish inside the umbu. My father says treasure is in the practice of sharing. Cousin Human, Cousin Vasa, Cousin Maunga, Cousin Messina, Cousin Fetu, Cousin Octopus, Cousin Coconut Tree, Cousin Drum, 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 Drum. In Sweden, children suffer from a resignation syndrome. Hearing the news that their family may be deported, the children go to sleep and they do not wake up. They do not move for days, weeks, months. They stay in a coma of despair. Depression shrinks the hippocampus, which triggers emotion and memories. And even if a family is granted asylum and they read the residency permit into their daughter's ear at her bedside, she doesn't move. She is like a mannequin. It will take months or years for her to learn how to open her eyes and how to hold her head upright so she could see that her family is well alive in Sweden. This is the third part. Our librarian, Mrs. Morales, her face grows paler every day. She says, people have every legal right to seek refuge from starvation, war, and violence. We've come this far. Why are we afraid to love? Some Americans have normalized the looming dictator raging at our borders. Under our watch, we witnessed children forced from the arms of mothers and fathers, while private prisons boom. Half the nation is diving into some cruel stupor, happily ripping wings off fragile, exhausted bodies. And the other half of the country, we are not afraid. We are fiercely sober, cousin to cousin, poet to poet, student to student, teacher to teacher, neighbor to neighbor, senator to senator, demanding the return what is now over 5,000 missing children. Mothers are wailing, their children are screaming, kicking their legs back into their mother's arms, trying to find a way back into their mother's arms. I'd like to know what you would do to save your family's life. The Amber Alert crashed a sham. Her child is in a warehouse in a cage in the land of incarceration. Mrs. Morales asked, how many more days? What happened to the special counsel? Why is coal mining waste allowed to poison our rivers again? The president sinks more every day, but remains afloat like styrofoam. This is part 4, this is the end. Yes, and we are here, one rallying jamboree springing from that lasting spiritual reservoir, real as the countless stars, providing a pathway for us to haven the vulnerable and the sick. Here we leap forward to save the life of another. Our own life depends on it. Love one another is extraordinary. The sovereignty of the heart is glorious. Here we think urgently, so we gather, we lead, we dig, we organize, we reconstruct over and over and again the Underground Railroad. Here is where we become human. We become harbor. That is the moment we become civilized. I'm going to read, I know it said I could read 4 poems, but I think I'm just going to read one poem on a different note. Well, on the same note, unfortunately, but it's not the same note. Okay. This is called My Love Letter to the People. And I wrote this after Trump's first immigration ban, and it was the weekend after the Women's March, and all the people were at the airport protesting. And so this is called My Love Letter to the People. I love the way you press Sharpie into cardboard, drawing letters taller than towers, fingers and eyes acutely aware of the trying times ahead. Underfoot, the earth is warm with breathing. The people lace boots, tie toddler shoes, bundle up the newborn where there's no time to call the babysitter. Handmade signs ready. Refugees welcome, no ban, no wall, no human is illegal. I love my Muslim neighbors. At the tarmac, it has already started, the chanting coming in waves. Let them in, let them in, let them in. 6:30, and all across the land, the traffic thickens, people arriving in droves. Car doors slam, umbrellas expand, horns honk high above his terrible orders. Do you feel it? The people arrive drunk with friendship, and drunk with poetry, drunk with peace, drunk with justice, drunk with holding one another up. Let them in, let them in, let them in. There is Kazu in Oakland, Lika in Seattle, Alicia in Oahu, solid on their feet, bringing poems hidden in the lining of coats, words stitched into scarves, infused inside hoodies is the poet's America. Let America be America again, but this time don't forget us. Untangle that endless ancient chain of dog-eat-dog America. America, ask why your libraries are full of tears. America, ask when you will end your wars of terror. America, ask what it is to gain the whole world if you lose your soul. People kiss the earth, kiss beyond the stars, the opera crowning Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Let them in, let them in, let them in. Did you see it on the news? My people from Boston to O'Hare, to Honolulu, to Oakland, to Seattle, protecting the people without a bed, a neighborhood, a country. At the crescendo, the opera soars for mercy. Mercy enters where the sister from Syria, where the mother from Congo, where our values are being confronted, interrogated, threatened. The opera is tunneling into the eardrums of the TSA official. We are kin. We are their kin. Your kin, your kin, your kin. We will never have to tell our children that we are only following orders. All across the country, under January's new moon, the people arrive, bending the gates of heaven wide.